So it seems the track focuses, a little summary here, on the high anxiety of late night phone calls from some girl he likes who doesn't really want to listen to his problems, but instead vent her own. Welcome to adult society in the next 40 years of your life. And to use an American idiom, suck it up. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Audiophiles. My name is John. His name is Andy. Gotta make a move to a town that's right for me. Town to keep me moving, keep me grooving with some energy. While I talk about it. More on that later. But first, we've got a track to listen to. First, selected by Andy. Andy, what have you got for everybody to get their ears round today?
What are your thoughts on modern baseball?
Not as good as Ancient Rounders.
Forever better than ancient rounders. And I have plenty of thoughts on them, but in this case, it's not about, pitch call challenges or the speed of the game, or, what we do in extra innings. That's off the table. It's actually a band called Modern Baseball, and it's a track called Fine. Great. So I assume you've never heard of these guys. Excellent, cool. And you know what? That's fine. Great. So just go off, give this thing a spin, or a run round the bases, and come back and let us all know what you've made of it.
Game that you made complicated with lots of rules and stuff. Yes, I will go off and listen to contemporary hopscotch or whatever it is, and come back and let you know what I think.
Okay.
I hate worrying about the future, 'cause all my current problems are based around the past. And I hate when you call me late at night just to check in to make sure I got nothing to be sad about, but it's alright, and I'm okay. I won't need your help anyway, I will. I hate having to think about my future when all I want to do is worry about everyone but me.
Okay, it's a nice start. He's got that nasally voice that can easily be quite whiny if you're not careful. But it sounds good. And I like the way his cadence through the sort of going over the words almost feels at times like he's about to run out and it just twists and then carries on. It's just quite nice. So there's some girl, which he probably likes, I think, that's ringing him up late at night. Oh dear, how terrible. Okay, we'll see how this goes. It's interesting, actually, just for the last word, just as he finished the verse, was the word me. And, I've got a feeling we're going to get that a lot. So the word complain about stuff is me. It is quite snowflakey, but yeah, we'll see. I like the way that the band kicked in as well. It sounds very chirpy, actually.
Tired, or maybe just bored. I can't really tell the difference whenever I'm talking to you. And I know that you just adore starting off with me that way, that there's no way that I'll assume that you're wasting all of my time to vent about your problems, like how your Instagram stopped working and how you're...
Actually, there's some really interesting stuff going on there. It's like a combination of British indie and American indie. You're getting sort of that sort of quirky indie pop start to it there when the band kicked in. And then there was certain sort of, there's guitar part. Really, it's quite down on the mix. It's sort of going, which sounds quite British indie pop. but you also get that it's not a chug, but it's that tick, 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 which a lot of American bands employ. I don't really. I see that as an American sound, and it has that feeling of almost running on the spot and building up energy. Usually the drums kick in with it as well, so it's quite an interesting mix here. Yeah.
Friends built on you, but it was funny cause it was the day you were supposed to hang with me. Yeah.
I'm just lost momentum with that, so I'm just going to go back a bit.
Your Instagram stopped working and now your friends built on you, but it was funny cause it was the day you were supposed to hang with me. Yeah, about that. I'm guilty as charged for leading you on a lie that I know it's easy to see, but it's crucial.
So the guitar, which is slightly more in this channel there, going away. Jangly guitar there, that's like a descendant of Johnny Marr almost. Somewhere around the C86 sort of sound. Really nice. Yeah, interesting.
To blot out any signs that I might have feelings this way. You don't ask me how am I this way. You won't force me to proceed with actually having to tell you my worries. With actually having you give a damn about me. You giving a damn about. I hate work.
So we'll go back to the start there. A couple of things there that are quite interesting. It's nice short song. So just to get to the end of this part, is it a bridgy part? I don't know. There's some chord changes that sounded really Smiths like. And then when it dropped out and the acoustic guitar came back in, I don't know if it's just ingrained, but it just for 2 seconds it was, the all tears apart. I guess that's just the Pavlovian response, but yeah.
Am I this way? You won't force me to proceed with actually having to tell you my worries. With actually having you give a damn about me. You giving a damn about. I hate worrying about the future, cause all my fucking problems are based around the past. And I hate when you call me late at night just to check in to make sure I got nothing to be sad about, but it's alright, and I'm okay. I won't need your help anyway, I will. I hate having to think about my future when all I wanna do is worry about everyone but me.
There you go. Yeah, interesting. Quite a nice little indie poppy song, very sort of almost jangly in places. The predominant word from that song was me. So he's complaining about someone, I think, calling him up and asking how they are, and he's going, fine, great, whatever. And then they're just unloading their shit. They go, you don't really care about me. Well, welcome to the next 40 years of your life, mate. Suck it up. That's what it's going to be like. People not really caring about your problems. That's the way it is, fortunately. It has a really nice sort of juvenile sound to it. It's very youthful. And I would say very sort of that. We talked about this a little bit with Jimmy Eat World, is that sort of youthful American sound. That's what I associate with this sort of sound as well. Very pleasant. Some really nice touches in there. Nothing wildly original. And yeah, he's got a girl calling him up all the time and venting to him. He's been friend zoned, hasn't he? Oh well. Let's find out some more about modern baseball while going back and chopping it up with Andy.
All right, he's rounding third and has slid into home. John, what do you think of modern baseball and fine grades?
They should never have got rid of the lollipop bats. So The song starts with this acoustic guitar and our humble narrator worrying.
Mm.
This appears to be key to the song,
Yes.
which I guess makes it emo by transatlantic definition.
Oh, yeah.
It wouldn't to me by its sound. So it seems the track focuses, a little summary here, of the high anxiety of late night phone calls from some girl he likes who doesn't really want to listen to his problems, but instead vent her own. Welcome to adult society in the next 40 years of your life. And to use an American idiom, suck it up. No one cares about your problems, let alone some vain lass on the end of the phone. So he delivers the first verse in this kind of nasally voice, which seems to be sort of he also his delivery seems to be playing a game of Nokia Snake. So he's running over the words, his cadence, and then turning the last minute into the next line and back. And I really enjoyed that actually. It's
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
nice when he does that. And at the end of this little section, he sings worrying about everybody else but me. A classic passive aggressive term here. I heard one. And then the band join in at that point to get the song going in full steam ahead. The rhythm section here and throughout actually is very jolly and poppy, and it bounces along into the second verse, or if that's an intro, the first verse, or whatever you want to call it. The guitar, you've got a couple of sounds from the guitar actually. What it is really low in the mix, but there's like a sort of like an indie guitar going on, which
Yeah, 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 yeah.
sounds very British. British indie, and then you got the other guitar, which is a bit more, which does that. So it's not chugging, but it's that quick picking of a one note or maybe two. It has that sort of energy of jogging on the spot, and you can see their energy bar going up like in a video game,
Mhm.
and it creates, rising up sort of anticipation and energy. As we near the end of the verse, the drums also pick up on this with the beat, so you give him this build up as he lists her problems about Instagram and friends bailing. The drummer smacks the cymbals as he makes these points. It's like a finger jabbing out another bone of contention.
Yeah.
Um,
Or
and
just
again,
checking off the box of like complaints. Yeah.
yeah. But he's not really brave enough to really say it to her face. And then by coincidence, the last word in this verse is me. Again. So then we get to a little bridgy part with a jangly guitar. Which is sort of railing away in a faint echo of the C86 style. And it's very, unexpected, that particular guitar part for me. There's plenty of metal work being kicked around by the drummer. And in this section, it climaxes with the narrator complaining about blotting out signs of feelings and her not asking how he is. Perhaps he has a smidgen of self-awareness that he enables all this with his titular response. Fine, great. And then we get a really weird bit for just a few seconds, and I just picked up on this, and probably no one else would or cares. But there's some very Smiths like chord changes, hugely. And I mentioned Johnny Marr earlier on in the action, a little bit of that jangly stuff. But then there's just a few chords, and it's literally about 3 seconds. But wow, that sounds really Smiths.
Yep.
And it pauses, and as he sings, "You give a damn about me." And just as I'm thinking we're having another section finishing with that final word, the objective case of the word I, but the guitar springs a riff, which sounds to me like the opening 2 or 3 seconds of Love Will Tear Us Apart by Joy Division.
Mm.
And then it doesn't. And the drums go up the ladder of tempo and he repeats, give a damn. So then we go into the sort of repeat of the intro with the sort of guitar isolated, but it sounds a bit more forceful than it did at the start. And the singer discovers his potty mouth.
But it's
After
funny how
this,
the music takes this more like I don't know, like pointed.
strident, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then of course, how do I emphasize that with lyrics? Let me drop a fuck it in there. I picked up on that too when I first heard it, John. So it's just funny to hear you kind of absorb the same or observe the same,
Yeah.
thing.
So we get the first 2 lines of that, and then the band return with a crash. And we get full on sort of the chords and the drums pounding onto the beats and in between the beats as well, all the way through to the sudden ending, which naturally ends with the word me. So yeah, this is a charming sort of indie pop song.
Yeah.
Um, I think it does come into the term emo in America. It wouldn't necessarily in this country. I think that's more about subject matter. It could sound a little bit whiny with that nasal voice. It didn't for me, to be
Mm.
fair, but you can imagine some people.
Oh
And
yeah.
this is almost like a reverse Smith situation where I think some people could go, "Oh, he's just whinging on. He doesn't have a clue. Bloody snowflakes, you know. Oh,
Yeah.
some girl phones him up today. Oh, and then what about my problems, you know?" And but I think if you're into this, you don't see that, and it's oh, this is really, it's quite fun.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it had that youthful sound to it, which is really hard to pin down and describe. But we talked about it with Jimmy Eat World. There's just has that sort of driving, and it seems weird talking about the subject matter, but there's almost an optimism in the music, not the
Yes.
lyrics, but it's sort of driving forward and that sort of bounce, which was very American because we have no optimism or confidence in this country. So, um, and it did remind me of certain things. And I was struggling. There's a band you gave us before. I think it was called the From Bottoms,
Boom.
and it reminded me of that.
Yeah.
So
I was
yeah,
waiting for you if you could conjure that memory to draw the correlation there because it's there to be observed for sure.
yeah. So it's very similar sort of sound. But yeah, overall, I found this funny
Yeah,
from a sort of adolescent, juvenile. And I don't mean that in a horrible way.
of
Just
course.
somebody who, just thinks about what about my problems? No one fucking cares, man. You'll learn. You will learn. But no, especially some girl that you felt like is not going to be bothered about your problems. This
Yeah,
isn't, this isn't really 8 years old, and you make it all right by putting their name on your pencil case or whatever. Um,
exactly.
so yeah, that I enjoyed as well. Though it was funny, and the music was very sort of upbeat and the sort of indie pop and really nice as well. So yeah, it
Yeah.
was a good one.
Good man. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you saw well one, obviously the front bottoms pull was there to be made. I'm glad you did it. But also this fast forward 30 years, drop you in America Smiths-esque thing going on here because it's there to be observed. It's not as obvious as like how they sound compared to the front bottoms, but I think you can see that
Yeah,
somewhere in there is
that
the
influence.
influence of Marr and Morrissey kind of written all over this in a way if you're familiar. So yeah, I'm glad you made that observation. Yeah, modern baseball. They're American, as you rightly pointed out, that as they would be classified here, emo band from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, consisting of Bren Lukens on guitar and lead vocals on this track as well. Jake Ewald on guitar, lead vocals, Sean Huber on drums and backing vocals, and Ian Farmer on bass and backing vocals. They formed in 2012 at Drexel University, one of the universities there in the kind of the heart of Philadelphia. One of my brothers went to Drexel, great school. Bren Lukens and Jake Ewald met in high school, and when Lukens was interested in Ewald's twin sister. They belonged to different friend groups, but found common ground through music. Their name was inspired by a book that Lukens and Ewald found in Ewald's basement titled Modern Baseball Techniques. I can only think that this is an old book that came out with like Stratomatic and the early, games where you would hold up statistics against each other, almost like fantasy baseball before fantasy baseball. I wish I had that book. Originally from Brunswick, Maryland, they relocated to Philadelphia to attend college, with Lukens attending Chestnut Hill College and Ewald attending Drexel University. In Philadelphia, they met fellow music lover Ian Farmer, who helped them record their first album, Sports, in Drexel's recording studios. The album was released in 2012, and shortly thereafter, the group temporarily left college to pursue music professionally. The band's first concert was in their shared house near Drexel. The price of entry was either $3 or a picture of Michael Jordan. I just love all the nods to American sports in this, with like the price of admission's a picture of MJ or their first album being named Sports or the name of their band. It's just I feel like I would have gotten along with these guys. Um, the house was dubbed the Michael Jordan House, which became a center for underground bands in the Philadelphia area. The music video for their track, The Weekend, was centered within various parts of the house, including its basement. The group's second full length album, You're Gonna Miss It All, was recorded on Run for Cover Records in 2014, reaching number 97 on the Billboard 200. The group toured the United States in early 2014 with the Wonder Years, and then in September of that year, Modern Baseball toured the United Kingdom. In late 2015, the band announced plans for their third album that would be released in 2016, entitled Holy Ghost. On February 25th, 2016, the band announced that the album was released on May 13th, 2016 through Run for Cover Records again and on Big Scary Monsters in the UK and Europe. The album was produced by Joe Reinhardt at Headroom Studios in Philadelphia. To promote the album, the band embarked on the Holy Ghost Tour with Thin Lips and Joyce Manor in May of 2016. And later that year, they supported Brand New on tour along with the Front Bottoms. This track I had you listen to today was released on their aforementioned sophomore album, You're Gonna Miss It All. Pitchfork, there we are. And their writer Ian Cohen reviewed the album upon its release and would write, the Philadelphia emo band Modern Baseball's second album features a wealth of infectious songs that are both sharply observed and sharply written. You're Gonna Miss It All mostly concerns itself with wasted time, and it's dense with both hooks and lyrical barbs. Adding, You're Gonna Miss It All is a sophomoric album in multiple ways. It's the Philadelphia band's second full length, for one thing. Beyond that, Brendan Lukens recently finished his second year at Drexel University, and he never lets you forget that what 21-year-old college students are often like, culturally literate, if not necessarily book smart, blurring the line between introspective and self-obsessed, like ending every stanza with the word me, impressed by their capacity for clever wordplay and emotional awareness, while knowing both of those qualities conspire to prevent people from saying what they actually feel. And due to all of the aforementioned, Lukens is kind of full of it himself too. He won't exactly lie to you, but he'll tell you what he aspires to be while doing the exact opposite. Observe this howler from Fine Great. I hate having to think about the future when all I want to do is worry about everyone but me. There's a fine semantic misdirection here, and he knows it. It's a song about how much of a pain in the ass it is to have people care about you, and all he really wants is for everyone to worry about someone other than Brendan Lukens. Last year, Jameson Draper of The Alternate wrote an article reflecting on the album upon its 10-year anniversary and advised readers to cherish an album like You're Gonna Miss It All because it only comes around once in a generation. A brief epic with a big sound and searing instrumentation that reflects upon a short life lived with awe-inspiring vulnerability. The true pull of this album is its earnestness, a pointedly vulnerable coming-of-age tale that's beautiful because of how embarrassing it is, not despite it. The only album from the era that rivals it in that category is Lord's Pure Heroine. Like we're reading the diaries of a visionary before they've grown up. So, these lyrics. I hate worrying about the future because all my current problems are based around the past. And I hate when you call me late at night just to check in to make sure I got nothing to be sad about. But it's all right, and I'm okay. I won't need your help anyway. Ah well, I hate having to think about my future when all I want to do is worry about everyone but me. I'm so tired, or maybe just bored. I can't really tell the difference when I'm talking to you. And I know that and I know that you just adore starting off with me that way, that there's no way that I'll assume that you're wasting all of my time to vent about your problems, like how your Instagram stopped working and how your friends bailed on you. But it was funny because it was the day you were supposed to hang with me. I'm guilty as charged for leading you on, a lie that I know is easy to see, but it's crucial to blot out any signs that I might have feelings. This way you don't ask me how I am. This way you won't force me to proceed with actually having to tell you my worries, with actually having to give a damn about me. You giving a damn about, I hate worrying about the future because all my fucking problems are based around the past. And I hate when you call me late at night just to check in to make sure I got nothing to be sad about. But it's all right, and I'm okay. I won't need your help anyway. All well. I hate having to think about my future when all I want to do is worry about everyone but me. So, music website Dying Scene wrote of the track in their 4.5 out of 5 album review. You're Gonna Miss It All opens with Fine, Great, a song that showcases much of modern baseball's musical language. Acoustic intros, a full band sound influenced by indie, emo, and punk in equal measures, and of course their unmistakable lyricism. The line, I hate worrying about the future because all my current problems are based around the past, comes up time and again in Fine Great, with minor deviations, and becomes sort of acerbic, frustrated rallying cry. The vocals themselves have a unique conversational tone that lend the words a lot of their character. It's not the voice of an accomplished singer with great range, but it is a voice, a distinct musical perspective, and modern baseball is, for better or worse, defined by it. In January 2017, Brent Lukens released a statement saying they would not be joining the band on their upcoming Europe and UK tour, instead opting to stay at home to focus on their mental and physical well-being. In February 2017, the band announced that they would be canceling their US tour and taking a break to help protect their mental health and their friendships. A few shows followed, however, in July of 2017, and Modern Baseball played a one-off show with Daniel Johnston as part of his final U.S. tour in October of that year. The band played 3 consecutive shows in their hometown of Philadelphia. In an interview from October 2017, Ewald confirmed that the band had no plans to play any more shows for the foreseeable future. So they put out 3 albums and kind of went on a hiatus. I know Brent Lukens was going through some mental stuff. I'm not saying that this is a product of it, but I'm saying that the blowback from having announced that they were non-binary probably created in them this unease about the touring scene and putting themselves out there all the time. So ever since then, really, they've been on hiatus. So, I mean, from being a guy from the Mid-Atlantic that has liked this band for well over 10 years now, it'd be nice if they could come together and make a fourth. But even if they don't, it's not bad to churn out 3 really good albums. So yeah, I'm really glad you gave this one a go and that you saw the humor in it and you just didn't take it as some kid griping. And in a way it is that, but there's so much more to it than that. And they're kind of having a laugh about it as well. So yeah, I mean, the Smiths, and you've had to remind me at times to overlook the naggy nature of it and see the bigger picture. And so it doesn't come as much of a surprise to me that you were able to use that same lens to view this track. So thanks for giving it a go, man.
And I enjoyed it.
Excellent, man. Excellent. Guys out there in the listening audience, please let us know what you think of modern baseball, whether it's Major League or this band, and this track. And if there's anything else by them that we should be checking out, if you are a fan of theirs, it'll likely be one that will go to John, but feel free to shout it out in the comments field below. Also, please like, share, and or subscribe if you haven't done any or all of those things already. It goes a long way to help us out here at the channel. It only costs you a couple seconds of your time, and we really do appreciate it. And hopefully, John and I will catch all y'all in growing numbers on the next installment of the Audiophiles. We'll see you later, guys.